In this video, I'm going to show you how to record and publish a podcast episode. So by now you would have had a look through the unit and you would have seen that in the preparatory learning module, I actually ask you to consider the contents of an introductory comment about yourself, and then I've asked you to record that as a podcast episode and publish it. And I know that some of you are going to find this really scary, but it's not. So if you feel that you've made a mistake, when you've actually done the recording, we can always delete it. We can go over it again and again. It's not a problem. But by engaging in this whole idea of recording a podcast episode, it's giving us an insight into how to really deliver information in a succinct and concise way with a clear voice, sounding as though we're enjoying ourselves, sounding as though we mean what we say. And it's not assessed. It's not a task that you have to do and you have to get an HD on. This is a way of introducing you to the structure of EDFD 460 and also allowing us to actually listen to everybody's podcast episodes so we get to know each other a little bit. So the best way to actually go about recording a podcast is to use the Wimber folder link that's in the Course Tools menu bar on the left hand side. So if you click on that once, this will open up. Basically, it will open up the whole Wimber environment on EDFD 460. So everything that you submit in terms of audio, this is where it's going to be. Okay. So the first thing that will pop up is actually the Wimber homepage, and that's just to give you a little bit of information. Underneath that, there is a link to some documentation that the podcaster instructions that gives you an insight into how to actually podcast. Now, it's really important that you do read that because there are a few things that you need to do in order to make sure that podcasting is going to work. And one of those is that you actually need to set your computer up. So what I would ask you to do is, before you go any further with this video, is to click on the Wimber podcaster instructions, open them up. They open up as a PDF file. And go through them step by step to make sure that your computer is ready to go. Now, you'll see that as you scroll through it, it has a section called Getting Started. Okay, and this tells you the things that you need. So headphones and a microphone. Some laptops have inbuilt microphones, and that's absolutely fine. But the really important thing is this section about the setup wizard. And what it does, it takes you through 4 or 5 steps that just ensure that your laptop or your computer are audio compatible, and then when you talk, it records it, so that when you actually come to recording a podcast, there are going to be no difficulties. So at this stage, I'm going to assume that you have actually read that and that you've set up your computer properly and that you're ready to go. So we've come into our Wimber environment and you're going to record your introductory podcast. So if you click on the little cross sign, if you can't see the introduction, if you can't see 2.1, click on the cross sign and that will drop it down for you. And then click on Introduction, 2.1 Introduction, and that is the podcast environment for the introductory comment task. And you'll see that the first thing that happens is that a few instructions will appear. Now, they're quite important because you need to remember that when you're podcasting, it's actually a public, it's like a public announcement in a way. So again, this is one of the reasons why we're using podcasting, because it's teaching you how to deliver information that is of a public nature. Okay, so always remember that these days we all have a digital tattoo. So Facebook is a digital tattoo. There are a lot of things about it that we can't get rid of. So you need to make sure that everything that goes up on the web is of a wholesome nature. So you'll see here in the information just at the top under EDFD 460 introductory message, I say, please record a short podcast introducing yourself to the other members of the unit. Include your first name, your location, your experience so far of online learning, your current understanding of creativity and imagination in education, and what you hope to gain from studying online. So notice that I don't want you to put your surname on, nor do I want you to be specific about your location. So say, Ballarat, Melbourne, New York, Addis Ababa, wherever you may be. Keep it interesting, but I don't want to know your street address. So you're ready to record your first podcast, and it's very simple. You click on New, and it gives you a subject line. So in the subject line, just put your first name, and then you've got a couple of options. Very simply, if you want to do a very basic podcast, you click on the red button, and that is a record button. What you can do as well is you can also put a little bit of text in, and some podcatchers, so something like iTunes, sometimes will actually display the text. So if I was to write, "Hi, my name is Fred," once I've published my podcast episode, in some podcatchers that will appear as well. But now I'm just going to show you how to very quickly record and post. So you click on the red record button. "Hello, my name is Fred and I am a student in Ballarat." Press stop and that'll stop. Now it shows you here that I've done 7 seconds, okay? I've spoken for 7 seconds. Now if I was to record again, just watch this bit here where my mouse is, and if the bars are going up and down, that means that I'm actually recording. "Hi, my name is Fred and I'm a student in Ballarat and I am going to be a primary school teacher." So you can see there that the bars are going up and down, so that means that it's recording. So I'm now ready to publish that. At the moment it's just sitting in limbo, it's gone absolutely nowhere. So if you scroll down a little bit and you click on post, it's now showing me that Fred from Demo Student, which is the name I'm using while I'm on Blackboard today, has actually posted a podcast. So that is now winging its way out in the ether, and if somebody was to have the feed details for this particular podcast, they'll be able to pick that up. Now, that is something that we'll be addressing later on. The really important thing at the moment is for you to practice podcasting, so practicing how to speak clearly, thinking about the information that you actually want to provide, making sure that it's not offensive, or it's not going to get you into trouble, or it's not going to compromise you. This is just about finding out a little bit about you. So that is literally how you post a podcast. If you want to do more than one, that's absolutely fine. Just let me know which ones you then want deleted. This is about having a practice, getting used to it, and also being able to listen to other people. So if you actually wanted to listen to what somebody else had to say, what you can do is click on their entry, and then if you click on the green play button just underneath here, you'll actually be able to listen to what they said as well. Of course, the main idea of a podcast is that you don't listen to it in the environment that it was created in, but we actually listen to it when we start subscribing to the podcast through iTunes or Podcast Pickle, whatever it may be. But again, as I said, that is not a concern at the moment. That is something that we'll be addressing in a few weeks' time.